Hi Crafty Peeps, Enis here, and I am working on a project for a luncheon we're going to have at our church tomorrow for our new pastor and his family. And I have been asked to make welcome signs to put on each of the tables for our luncheon. So this is the sign that I've come up with, and these are the Dollar Tree chalkboard signs that I picked up at my local Dollar Tree. I did do a haul on that shopping trip where I went in specifically just to get 6 of these, and unfortunately I could only get 4, and then I went a little crazy buying a lot of other stuff. So today I managed to get into another Dollar Tree that's not too far from me, and it's actually a bigger store, and I just wish that one was closer, but it's not. And I was able to get a couple more of the frames. The only thing is, I noticed that the frames I picked up at the second store, you'll see, are actually smaller than the frames I got at my store. So you can see here, yeah, there you can see it. It's like a 1/2 inch smaller down the side and across the top. But the design that I've created will fit on this as well. So I've only created the design once, and I'm getting ready to cut those out. I did do one ahead of time so I can show you guys. And for this project, not only am I using the frames, but I'm going to be using a variety of tools. I have my Cricut brayer. I have a scraper, pair of scissors. I may or I may not use my vinyl weeder. I'm not sure. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I have my tool control knife and a weeding tool. You'll notice this one is marked vinyl. This is the one that I use for my vinyl projects. And when I'm doing my paper crafting, I have another one that I have taped on their paper. But I keep that one separate. I'm going to be using the Dollar Tree pump bottle with the alcohol in it. I showed this in that last haul I did. I will also be using some Cricut this is Cricut Premium Everyday Removable White Vinyl. And I will be using some pieces of Cricut, what do they call this tape? Transfer tape. As well as obviously my Cricut machine and a green mat. So with that, I'm going to get started. Push these out of the way. Cleaning off one of these frames here. So I have a piece of paper towel. And all you do with this, you open it up, and if you pump down, oops, some actually squirted out, okay, it will distribute some alcohol. Then you just wipe the surface, and what you're doing is you're taking off the dust and debris or any oils that might be on the project. And usually you would use this on glass, but these were really dusty. I think that a lot of the wood flaked off onto the chalkboard piece. So now I'm just drying it off, okay? So there's my first one done. So I will go off camera and do the other 5, or the other 4. Okay, so I have my green standard grip mat, and typically this is the mat that you'll use when you're cutting vinyl. You can use other mats, but this one is really the preferred mat. I have taken my vinyl off the roll and cut a piece about 10 or 11 inches wide, and I believe its standard is 12. Okay, and I know my design is 5 by 4. So I think this piece is going to be plenty big enough, and I will be able to cut up, let's see, I'll be able to get 4, a minimum of 4 on here. So let me just stick this down. Okay, and then you'll use your brayer just to adhere your vinyl to the mat. Okay. Trying to make sure most of the bubbles are out. Okay, and then it's ready to go on the machine. Now I've already created my design. Obviously you saw one already. So I'm going to take this mat over to my machine and I'm going to let it get cutting. And I will be right back when that's done. Okay, I am back and my machine is actually cutting that big sheet that will cut out 4 designs, but in the meantime I do have the 5th one already prepared here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to weed this. Now weeding can be a little bit tricky, so we have to be super careful with this, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, maybe a little bit more. I don't know if that's too close, but we'll give it a try. So what you're going to do is pick your vinyl with your weeding tool and lift up a corner, and then just start to roll it back, and you will see your design start to come loose. Now I know this is white on white, so it might be hard to see, but you can see it starting to come loose. And I'm just going to go slowly because I don't want to pick up any pieces that I need to save. Like for example, this dot on the eye here, I want to make sure that stays in place. And I know that this F on the word family is very finicky because when I cut my first one out, I had a little bit of trouble with it, so I'm going to be super careful with that. Okay, super careful. And I'm just gently pulling back on the vinyl. Okay. All right, that went a lot easier this time around. And just going to keep pulling on that gently, pushing back down on anything that might pop up. Okay. All right, so that was pretty good. Now, sometimes I do this differently, but I'm actually going to trim this piece off because I want to make sure it doesn't fall back down onto what I've already weeded and cause me some issues. So I'm just going to gently and carefully trim that off so that I don't stick anything back on this word and accidentally pull it off. And so now I'm going to go to the next line. And once again, just gently pull back on your vinyl and make sure that your words stay down. Now here's one that's not sticking down, so I'm just going to press on that. Okay. Until I can get it to stay. There it goes. All right, sometimes the thin pieces can be a little tricky. All right, so we got through that. Okay. Having a little bit of trouble here with this letter M because it's got a super thin piece on it. But if we're gentle and we take our time, we can have a successful project. There it is. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Just being careful, pulling gently. All right. Very good. There we go. Can you see that there? All right. And once again, I'm just going to trim this back. I don't usually, but I want this to be a successful project, and I'm going to get that sticky part out of the way. All right. Now, once again, I'm just going to lift up here. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can see the beginning of my first letter is right there. And I'm going to gently go around it. Okay. Yeah, when you have really thin letters, sometimes they can be tricky, so you just got to be careful. Okay. All right. Okay. And actually it looks like I've got both of these are coming up at the same time, but that's okay. Just have to keep an eye on it and make sure they are successful. And there you go. All right. So So that worked out pretty good. And now I have to weed out the negative spaces that we don't need. So I'm just going to poke my weeding tool in there. And this is the scrap piece of vinyl, and it's sticky. So I'm just going to pick these little pieces off and stick them on there. Sometimes I wear my weeding tool here and I scoop them in there, but this time they're so tiny, I'm just going to grab them out and put them on here. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, this is going pretty good. So I imagine that a number of you who do paper crafting probably also have either a silhouette or a Cricut or maybe some other kind of cutting machine. And it's a great way to combine paper crafting by hand and by machine. Plus the machines are a lot more versatile where you can do the vinyl projects. You can use it to cut fabric and chipboard and all kinds of different materials you can cut on your Cricut. I don't have any experience with the silhouette machines, but I would guess that you can cut different materials on them. Okay, that's a little tiny piece there, so that one was tricky. Okay, almost done weeding this. Tiny bit more. All right, so there's my design, all weeded. Looks pretty good, don't you think? All right, now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of transfer tape, and I'm going to zoom this back out a little bit. Okay. All right. And you want to cut this piece approximately the same size as your design. Mine's a little bit bigger. This was a scrap piece. I've used it a couple of other times. This transfer tape can be used over and over and over again until it's not sticky anymore. So what you're going to do is peel this off its backing and save the backing. And you'll want to kind of make like a taco shape with this. Put it down in the center of the design and then just spread it out. Okay. And then you will take your scraper and just scrape down on the design, and that helps adhere the vinyl to the transfer tape. Okay, and I'm a little bit off right there, but I think we'll be okay. All right. All right, now I'm going to turn my mat over, and I'm going to peel my design off the mat. And that helps to keep your vinyl, and if you're using cardstock, from getting curled. So you're going to lay this down and you're going to peel the mat backwards. Okay? And set that aside. And then I'm going to take my scraper tool and I'm going to scrape the back side. And once again, this helps to adhere the design to the transfer tape so that when you place it on your project, it should come off relatively easy. All right, so let me get one of my chalkboards. Make sure I'm putting it on. This is the top. And I am going to measure this and try to, okay, so this is about 5 3/4. So half of 5 3/4 would be 2.5. 2 3/4 is about the center there. And I'm just going to take a pencil and make a super light mark there. So I'll be able to erase that. Can you see it? A little mark. Okay. So that's going to help me to line up my design. Okay. So now what you're going to do is take your design and you're going to peel, you're going to lay it face down and you're going to peel your backing off of the design. And you'll want to do it at an angle like this, and you'll see how nicely that just stayed right on the transfer tape. Okay. And this piece you're done with, so you can throw that away. All right, so now what you're going to do is try to find the center of your design. And so what I do is I just basically fold the design over, and I do a little pinch at the top and a pinch at the bottom, okay? And I'm going to line the pinch up with that little mark that I made right there. Okay, now my transfer tape is a little crooked here, but that's okay. I know that my pinch is right there. So I'm going to try to center this from the top and the bottom and the left and the right. And the mark there and the pinch here and here is going to help me to get it centered. And a lot of times you'll want to taco method this onto your project as well. I think that looks pretty good. So then you're going to lay it down. It's a little low, but you know what? It's okay. Scrape that down. Okay. And then you're going to pick up a corner and roll this back. And the design should stick right to your project. Okay. It's going really good. Look at that. Look at that. And now you can take your transfer tape and put it back on its backer sheet so that you can use it again. Okay, because like I said, as long as this is sticky, you can keep reusing it. All right, now I do see that right here, my P is a little, the tail got a little squished there. Can you see that? Here's the first one I did. See how the P has a little curl on it there? So I'm going to take my weeding tool and just try to gently coax that into place. Look at that. Okay, so there we have it. I think it's a little low on the top, but I think all in all, it looks really, really good. So with that, I'm going to let you go, and I've got 4 more of these to complete. I hope you like this walkthrough. Sorry I didn't get to show you Design Space and how I designed this. I did use 3 different fonts. I did use some glyphs to get the swishes on the ends of these 2 words here. But I don't have the camera facilities that some people have that can go back and forth to the computer and then down and whatnot. I'm just using my cell phone to do all of my recording. So anyway, maybe some other time I'll be able to show you in Design Space how to create a design like this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of this easy project, and you will come back and see me again. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next crafty video. Bye, Crafty Peeps.